Welcome back. It's a week until Valentine's Day, so it's a perfect time to create a Valentine's Day card for someone special in your life. I have already opened a document. I have mine as a 5x7, so this works really well for a card. You could also print it out as like a printable and frame it for your wall if you do like themed stuff in your house. Just to do something a little different, we're going to do robots for Valentine's, because why not? If you haven't done a lot of character creation, robots are a nice way to get started because they're basically a bunch of really simple shapes put together. So to get started, I'm just going to use the rectangle tool. Make your first rectangle and go up to the very top, and I am going to change this to rounded corners, but I don't want it quite that much. I'm just going to reduce this to 10%. And then change the color, going back to the rectangle tool. I'm just going to change this to a darker color, and then drop this behind. So that's kind of like the neck. I'm just going to put these in a color palette. All you have to do is click swatches and then click kind of what looks like the color palette, and then you can add that current fill to the palette. Back to the rectangle tool, and this one I'm going to add corners on, again the rounded corners at 10%, and change that back to that lighter color. I'm going to zoom in, taking the ellipse tool and doing kind of like an oval shape, and then once again dropping this behind. And I want to make an antenna, so switching back to the rectangle tool, and then back to the ellipse for a circle at the top. Holding down Option or Alt, I'm just going to slide this over, holding Shift. For the mouth, just create a rectangle. I'm going to zoom in slightly, and I do that by using Command and the right bracket. Holding Option again and Shift, I'm just going to drag over to the right and then hit Command J to duplicate that process. Over on the right in the Layers panel, select that first rectangle and then all the way down to the first one you created. Command G to group them, and then you can kind of center it. And you can play around with the colors if you want to try to change it. I do actually like the darker one. You can always go in and add kind of the oval shape to the side. Kind of almost looks like an ear. I do like that, so I'm going to keep those. And then you can actually copy that same shape holding the Option or Alt. And I'm just going to enlarge it using the rectangle tool. So it's a lot of going back and forth between different tools and different colors. And you can obviously use more colors if you would like. I'm actually going to switch over to the trapezoid tool. And switch that color. And I actually want to flip this, so I'm going to go up to the top and then flip vertical. And then back over in the shapes, switch to the donut tool, and then go up to the top and you can see the start angle and then the end angle. If you play around with that, you can actually get it so that it's open and it kind of looks like the robot hands. And I'm just going to turn this and then shrink it down just a little bit. I'm going to add in a few little extra details. I like that better. It was getting to be a little bit too monochromatic for me. So grab all of the shapes in the arm and then Command G to group them. And then copy and paste, so Command C and then Command V, or go up to Edit, Copy, and Edit, Paste. Once again, at that top toolbar, click Flip horizontally, and holding Shift, I'm just going to drag it to this other side. And before moving on to the legs, I'm just going to add some details in on kind of like the chest of the robot. Okay, so I'm happy with that chest. I'm just going to move down and work on the legs. I'm going to use that rounded rectangle tool. So making an oval again. I'm going to use the trapezoid tool. And then going over to the shape tools, I'm going to switch over to the segment tool and make a shoe. So once again, I'm just going to go in and add some extra little details. Once again, I'm just going to grab all of those shapes and group them together and then copy and paste. And then I want to center these together. I'm going to zoom out, hitting Command and 0. And then robot number 1 is done. So grab all of the shapes and hit Command G to group. And as you can see, I mean, robots really are extremely easy just because they are a bunch of shapes. So I'm going to start off with the rectangle tool again. This time I'm going to switch the colors and go more towards, I think, a pink. Actually, no, I'm going to do an orange. And I'm going to go with red as opposed to any of the other colors that I was choosing along the way. I mean, it is Valentine's Day after all. I feel like I need a little bit of red or pink. So just continuing on like I did with the last robot and kind of building up and doing the head of the robot. Because it is Valentine's, you can always switch over to the heart tool and you can use it in your design. Which I actually don't know if I like that, but you can play around with it. I'm actually going to take the pen tool and make like a zigzag like this robot is speaking. I'm going to increase that stroke. Okay, I like that. So the fun thing with robots is that you can kind of make them any way that you want. So it's kind of fun to play around with like different versions that you can do. And then moving on to the arms. I'm actually going to switch over and do something with the pen tool for this arm. And I'm going to do the same type of hand that I did on the other robot. And you can also change not only that angle for how it's open, but you can change the size of that hole. So I'm actually going to increase mine. So once again, adding in some details. So grab all of those shapes. Once again, group them together, copy, flip horizontally, and then drag to the other side. So just like last time, add in any detail that you would like onto the chest of the robot. Okay, so now you have two robots. Just going to add a background to this. And I want to change that color. I'm not sure quite what color I want to do just yet. It's Valentine, so you could do pink or red or just do something completely different. I actually am going to leave that as a pink since it's Valentine. And then type in your note. Come over and grab the heart tool. You could even do some hearts between them. Rotate these slightly so it's not quite so boring. You could even add in some stuff in the background. I'm always a fan of polka dots, so you could go through and add a bunch of dots. And then just grab all of the dots once you are done and group them together and move them to the very back. A simple, cute, kind of different Valentine's Day card. Hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Thanks, guys.